Excuse, it's been lit. It's Wednesday night. Denise and Reg host Dynamite. Come and get your Easter eggs. It's a dub. Middle of the week, it's AEW. Dynamic wrestling and end your night with us. It's a must. It's Dynamite. It might combust. Speak now. We're gonna give you all the recap. Live on YouTube is where you see that. The Cali connection with the feedback.
The California connection is here once again. It is Wednesday, December 20th, and we are here to chat AEW Dynamite. And this is the second to last Dynamite of the 2023 year. Of course, I'm not alone. I'm joined by the good friend, Righteous Reg. Reg, what'd you think of today's Dynamite?
You know, Denise, this was it was an episode of Dynamite. There was some really great wrestling at points on here. The Continental Classic continued. I thought the ending was a big shocker, but nothing really crazy in the world happened.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. Of course, I don't know if the ending was too much of a shocker, because I think given once they really kind of told the people hey, these are the scenarios of which how things can end in the Golds League. I think a lot of people, I put it out on Twitter, I was asking people hey man, what ending or what scenario do you want to see play out? And everybody was like, we want to see the triple threat. We want to see the triple threat. And I'm thinking, okay, so when Jay White did actually win against Jon Moxley, I don't know if I was as surprised. I was maybe a little less surprised than I would have been.
Okay, you think if they didn't kind of preface us and give us that lead in that it would have hit a little bit harder? I thought it hit pretty good. That didn't sway it away, because in my mind, Jon Moxley still could have beat him and it could have just been Moxley and Swerve part 2. But it was kind of a shocker to me because Jay White hasn't been in this position for much of the tournament. So him to beat Mox at the end, I thought was pretty shocking.
Yeah, it's for me, it's a little bit of both. I think for me, I was looking at this and I was going, damn. Part of me is already expecting to see this triple threat because it seems like a little bit more of an intriguing option. Mm-hmm. And then secondly, when he actually did defeat him, of course, there was a little bit of surprise. But I think because I kind of already felt that this was the direction that they were going to go, I wasn't as surprised as I probably would have been. But still, man, having to see Jay White defeat Jon Moxley, like you mentioned, we haven't really been seeing Jay White kind of get these big wins, right? He came into AEW, he went into this feud with MJF, and, it's hit or miss for some people. We broke down that match when we talked about it at Full Gear. Mm-hmm. And so it really feels like we've been waiting for this big moment for Jay White. So do you think this was possibly the biggest moment he's had on AEW?
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe the feud and the match at Full Gear is probably a bigger moment, in hindsight, because he got to they had the big epic match and everything kind of surrounding it. But I thought this was very high up there. This definitely solidifies him as one of those talents in AEW that's next year it's going to be a big year for him next year. And I thought that they told a really good story in the match too, of Mox kind of Mox's body's breaking down. He's going through all these hard fought battles, barely etching out the victory in a lot of them. And this one he couldn't get through. And Jay White being the one to do that, I thought was pretty important. Makes it for a really dope triple threat match next week, I think, Denise.
Yes, that's the thing. I think that's why, because we already saw Jon Moxley Swerve Strickland. That was a phenomenal match, but we have not seen this triple threat. Right. And so we're going to be getting Jay White versus Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland. And I feel all of these guys are in such a different position in AEW. Jon Moxley, he's a made man, Reg. He's a made guy. And then you have Swerve Strickland, who is on the rise, who many people are expecting to be AEW World Champion by 2024. And then you got Jay White, who was, a big important, a big important signing to AEW, but still hasn't had that moment to grab the gold brass ring, to really grab that chance, that opportunity to run with right now on AEW. So he sort of has to I don't want to say reprove himself on this new AEW world, but when you've got players like Swerve Strickland, when you got other players like Jon Moxley, you do got to scratch and pull a little harder to make sure that you are a top guy like you were before you came into AEW.
I think he is in a really good position though, Denise, because say he does get the victory, I don't think it's so out of the realm of we can't believe this, or he didn't deserve this, or he shouldn't be in this position. I think he has a really good shot next week in being the one to kind of win this block of the tournament and go on to the World's End and have this match. I think that beyond everything, kind of all the controversy and everything surrounded him, every time he's gotten the opportunity, he's knocked it out of the park. He's shown that he's worth every dollar. He's shown that he's a big time player. He's shown the reason why he's a former IWGP heavyweight champion. Like, he's worth everything that he is. And tonight's performances show why.
Let's get into that main event match, because when I saw, I mean, obviously we knew we were going to get this match at some point because everybody was going to be facing everybody in their side of the bracket. But when it comes down to it, when you're talking about getting Jon Moxley versus Jay White on a main event of Dynamite, like, this could have easily been a pay-per-view main event. But here we go. We got it on Dynamite. What'd you think of the match itself?
I thought that it was, like I said, an extremely smart worked match. Jon Moxley's body's breaking down on him. He's been in all these crazy matches. He's had blood. And beyond that, he's still doing stuff with BCC. Just had that match in Ring of Honor that tore his body down. So kind of playing into that, Jay White using some cheating tactics with the chair, throwing in, tricking the ref, hitting Moxley on the outside. Jay White is just such a smart working wrestler that all of his matches feel different with each opponent. But like the way that he's calculated and the way that he lays it out, I think is really exceptional. Jon Moxley, I think getting pissed off at Jay White, trying to chop him, trying to outdo him, I thought was awesome. Flipping him off, getting upset, just being Jon Moxley. And yeah, the ending I thought was great. I guess I legit kind of was expecting Jon Moxley to win, if I'm keeping it completely honest, Denise, just because the trajectory and how he's been in this tournament is like, this is Jon Moxley's tournament to lose. He's going to go and beat Jay White and probably beat Swerve next week. Like, he's just in that position. But this was a big surprise, big shock. And I thought both guys worked a main event match like they have been.
So do you think that Jon Moxley is winning the Gold League side of things?
Yeah, I still am under the impression that Jon Moxley is going to win on this block just because of how he's been. This match probably even more shows me that he's going to win. And they got a little extracurricular in there, so some people don't have to get pinned. You know how they like the things. Nobody wants to get pinned. Nobody has to lose. So there's some middleman in there to take the thing. But yeah, I think Jon Moxley is over here because I think on the other side might be Eddie Kingston.
Oh, okay. Because so with the Gold League side of things, I'm thinking that in this triple threat, I'm expecting to see Jon Moxley pin Jay White.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's the way that they're going to go about it. I don't think that they should be pinning Swerve. He already got that screwy finish last week, and it feels like they could probably protect him that way, especially if we're expecting him to eventually become AEW World Champion in 2024. So I am expecting that to be the way that ends up playing out. But over on the Blue League side of things, I don't want it to be Eddie Kingston. I want it to be Bryan Danielson. I know, I'm sorry. I just want to see Bryan Danielson. Come on. Bryan Danielson is about to be almost done with his full year of in-ring pro wrestling. We still got Eddie Kingston for like a good amount of time. We don't got to rush things with Eddie Kingston.
Fair, Denise. I just think like the
you
story
gave me the eyes, Reg.
I know. I just think the story that they're telling with Eddie Kingston is that Bryan Danielson is like, if he lost every match from here on out, it'd be fine because he's already put up numbers on the board like he always does. He's the greatest of our generation. But also on the same vein, if Bryan Danielson was on the other side against Jon Moxley, that's the finals, Bryan Danielson wins, I'd be all in on that too.
That's kind of the way that I want to see it play out. Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson in the finals, Bryan Danielson getting the win. So that's how I'm feeling it. If you were to have it your way, Reg, would it be Jon Moxley, Eddie Kingston, or would it be an entirely different scenario?
No, I think I like the Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston because Phil and I have talked about it a little bit on Grapsity. They've told this story for a long time here in AEW. They still haven't paid off of some story that they were telling a few months ago of them kind of turning their backs on each other. There was some Ortiz involvement, there's all this Claudio involvement, like everything kind of involved. They never really paid it off. And I think this would be a great way to pay it off. And yeah, in that triple threat match, Denise, I think telling the story today of Jay White beating Mox and then Mox beating him next week is the story to tell. You keep Swerve over here. Nobody has to lose. He's still fresh. He's still good. And Mox is moving on. Yeah, the Blue League, though, yeah, it could be either way. It could go either way, I think.
All right, we still got to get into the other matches that went down at the Continental Classic, but of course, I want to get into these super chats and see what the people are saying. And I want to start things off by giving a massive shout out over to Sheldon Jackson for sending in 10 DWO memberships. Thank you so much, Sheldon. You rock. Happy holidays. He also sends in a super chat saying Switchblade is now 2-0 against Jon Moxley, all time in singles action. Jay gave Mox his first NJPW loss in the G1 Climax in 2019 in the B block, and now tonight. See, this is why I like Sheldon. He always comes in here with some facts, some reminders, and this is good stuff to kind of know, especially heading into if we're predicting Jon Moxley is the one that pins Jay White in this triple threat.
Yeah, especially because, AEW like stuff like this. They're probably going to tell this story on Collision, tell this story going into the match next week. And then Mox plays the upset, and now he's 2-1 against Switchblade.
Do you think they'll do a scenario where like Swerve Strickland has the match won, he hits a stomp or something, he's about to get the victory, but then all of a sudden Jon Moxley comes out and like ends up stealing his victory? Do you think they can do something like that?
That is my least favorite way that triple threat matches end, Denise. So I hope not times 1,000. I hate when the person hits their move and then the other person runs in and throws them out of the ring and then they roll them up. I hate it so much, but I would understand. I think Jon Moxley, the wrestler that he is, he doesn't have to do that though.
I don't know, man. What did we see him do last week?
Yeah, okay.
He pulled the tights of Swerve.
I see.
I think we're seeing that Jon Moxley is kind of a guy that he's going to do whatever it takes.
Wow, look at you, Denise, telling stories. That would be a good story, too, to kind of how Jon Moxley has been in this tournament of like, I will do anything to do this. And if I have to steal your victory to earn my victory, that's how I'm going to do it.
We got a super chat here from Crazy101 who says thoughts on Swerve versus Keith being brought up, Reg. Reg, you sat here. You sat in this exact same seat a couple months ago, and you went on probably like, I don't know, a 5-minute tangent about how we were never, and I mean never, going to see Keith Lee versus Swerve Strickland. Yet here we are. I'm pretty sure this match is happening. They've already told us, I feel like they've given us enough Easter eggs that this is going to happen.
I'd like for everyone to leave me alone, starting with Crazy 101, starting with Denise. I don't know why y'all put me on blast here. I want that podcast that we talked about this deleted from the record. I never said this. I don't even know what you're talking about here.
I'm going to go back and rewatch all of our episodes. It's somewhere in there. I just need to figure out which episode.
Wasn't me. Never said it. It was crazy. I can't believe this, Denise. When he came out and, interrupted the Mogul Embassy, I was like, they're trolling me. Why are you guys trolling me specifically? I feel like some moments happen and they're like, this is for that fool. I'm going to get him good because he went on that podcast and talked all that shit. And here we are. At least it's happening, Denise. At least we'll finally stop being able to hear it. That's all. I love it. So you guys can stop bringing it up. We can do it and be over with.
I did love that confrontation, by the way, on Collision. I actually ended up watching Collision yesterday, so several days late, but I got to it, and I thought that the way that they did the backstage segment was super chill in the way that Keith Lee just came up and was like, I'm a man of patience. I can wait, but I'm coming for this. I thought that was a pretty good way to kind of lay it out.
Yeah, I do like the energy that Keith Lee is bringing to the Mogul Embassy of like, no, I've been waiting for this. Well, I'm going to keep waiting, but I'm not going to wait much longer. Super dope. Speaking of Collision, shout out to Nigel McGuinness. That's the homie.
Crazy 101 says AEW is so effing back. Do you agree with the statement?
If we're just talking about the Continental Classic, we're 100% back. Like this is when in 2019, when they announced AEW, Denise, this is the kind of stuff I expected them to do. I expected them to bring elements from Japan. I expected them to do tournaments. I expected them to have the highest class wrestlers wrestling each other on Dynamite, wrestling each other on a weekly basis. And I think the feeling of that is here. There's some extracurriculars that people are upset about. We don't have to get into that. As far as the Grabstar, baby, we are all 100% here. I agree.
Roberto Arsenal says Swerve will have a big pay-per-view. He either wins the tournament or he ends up being the devil. So let's talk about that, because Roberto brings up a point here that I do want to get at. And that is that today on Dynamite, we saw this confrontation between MJF and Swerve Strickland. And during this, MJF kind of alluded that he thinks Swerve Strickland might be just a tad bit suspicious in terms of possibly being the devil. Points out the feud that he's had with Hangman Page being the one that was first. At 1 week, he was, well, oh God, I forgot the word. When you accuse somebody, when you try to set them up, what's the word?
What are you saying right
Set
now?
up? You know what it means when someone sets somebody up? There's a word for that. I forgot the word for it. Whatever. So it seems like he first was set up. And then secondly, the following week, all of a sudden.
Are you sure I'm the stoner of this podcast, Denise? Because I don't know what the hell.
There's a word and I can't think about it right now. I literally can't think about it. But then the second week, Hangman, thank you. God damn. Thank you to everybody here in the chat. Framed. I, for the life of me, could not remember the word.
Come on, you guys. We want Denise to just keep thinking. I wanted like 5 more minutes of this.
I wasn't going to get it right now. It just wasn't floating around in my brain atmosphere. Okay.
But
so,
thank you guys.
1 week, the man is looking like he could be framed. And the next, all of a sudden, he's being attacked. So MJF kind of brings this up to Swerve Strickland and they get really up close. The AEW World Championship is mentioned in this. What'd you make of this?
Denise, this might have been the strongest piece of thing that went on tonight on Dynamite. You know, it's been a couple of times that MJF has had a couple segments in the show, and one segment you're like, and then he has another segment, you're like, all right, that's the MJF we want and need. This is just akin to that backstage segment he had with Hangman a couple weeks ago. Just two guys face to face, talking shit to each other, getting off, telling real stories, Denise, telling real inside baseball stuff, letting stuff off. Just two guys on the top of their game. MJF is so great at this. You know what I mean? I don't understand. When he does the shenanigans, it's like, dude, you don't have to do any of this. Like, you could talk anybody into anything. Like, I don't understand what goes on here. He was on display here. Swerve was just confident and comfortable and ready for this world championship, Denise. Like, if you look at all the things that he's been doing as a whole, like not just the in-ring, the out-ring stuff. He's on football field with the Jaguars doing his dance. He's out doing music video. Like, it's just so much going on. And for them to finally face off, this felt like an epic face-off, an epic promo. Really got people interested in Swerve possibly being the Joker. That wasn't really on my bingo card, but I like that it's a little, curveball to throw in there. I thought this was super, super strong.
Yeah, this was definitely not something that I had on my bingo card either, or that I even cared to really discuss, because I just felt that it was so far-fetched to even try to blame or try to put it on Swerve being the devil, right? But it's crazy how, like, with this one little backstage segment, they gave us enough to at least, I don't think he's the devil. I still don't think he's the devil, but it was a nice little detractor. And I think for MJF, when you don't know who the devil is, you're going to start being paranoid. You're going to start blaming everybody. And so him trying to be like, well, is it you?
Mm-hmm.
Then that was kind of something that I thought that was, I guess, believable that somebody would do if they were in the situation as MJF getting beat up on a weekly basis.
Totally. And I think the coolest thing about the whole thing is it felt like seeds are being planted. You see how like Samoa Joe comes in at the end, he hugs MJF, but like him and Swerve have like a real good 10-second stare down where it's like, okay, that could be something. And then the MJF and Swerve thing, it's like, maybe he's not the devil, but in the future, they're definitely going to reflect back on this promo and be like, that was worth something when they're in this world title feud somewhere in the future. So I thought the seeds being planted were super awesome too.
Seems like a lot of seeds are being planted, because what was it, like last week or the week before, we were sitting here talking about Hangman Page and MJF.
Yeah, exactly. And it's crazy because they're so similar. Like they both were backstage segments. They both kind of planted these same kind of seeds. I expected Swerve to get knocked out by the Joker at some point in the end of this Dynamite. It didn't happen. Could happen on Collision. Things are still moving.
And speaking of keeping things moving, Matt Reichel sends in a super chat saying, interesting episode of Dynamite, great night since it's my 42nd birthday. And looks like they're trying to swerve people on who the devil is. Well, Matt, first of all, happy 42nd birthday. We hope you're having an awesome one. Thank you so much for sending us a gift on your birthday. And secondly, that's good, man. try to swerve the people. We should have thought about that, Reg. We're better than that.
I know. Happy birthday to Matt. I've been a supporter for a long time. Appreciate you. Hope your 42nd birthday is great. Great Dynamite to cap off your 42nd birthday. And yeah, I think it is a good swerve because they got people believing it now. And that's the only thing you really need.
Yeah, definitely. Tony Campbell sends in a generous super chat saying, I'm here for pro wrestling AEW. WWE does nothing for me. Andrade should be winning, though. I don't feel Swerve. Can't wait for the Ring of Honor Women's TV title. Looks great. Get well soon, CJ Perry, Kenny Omega. Oh, I'm going to toss this one to you, Reg.
No. Don't toss this one to me, Denise. Go ahead and keep moving forward. I don't want you to toss anything to me.
I'm just saying, he's the first person to come on and say he doesn't feel Swerve. That was kind of
okay.
unexpected.
Yeah, no, I was reading a different part.
What part were you talking about?
No,
nothing. Does nothing for me part?
Yeah, no. Let's move forward. It's
I'll circle back to that.
Yeah. It's understandable, Denise. I don't think there never should be a world champ that's for everyone. There should be people that are like, I mean, even kayfabe and not sense, like there's world champions throughout history that I'm like, nothing for me. Like, I watched NXT Deadline and the last match was Baron Corbin and Ilya Dragunov, and I was like, why is Baron Corbin here? I never in my life want to see this. This is ridiculous. But I mean, I understand things. For me and for us, though, Swerve is going up. He's the next world champion, so you better get used to it, Tone.
So, in regards to WWE doing nothing,
no, not the regard.
I'm going to touch on it. I won't touch this one to you, Reg. I'll touch on it. This goes both ways. All right. Literally today, I went on Facebook and I posted this picture promoting Smack Talk Showdown, the card game, right? And literally, the first comment was some person just saying, "I want AEW to go out of business." Ooh. That was literally the only comment. It's just said, I just want AEW to go out of business. And this is not the first time I read stuff like that. I read it from both sides, from both the AEW fans, from the WWE fans. I see it all over my YouTube channel, like constantly. I'm always reading comments, so I see this stuff rolling in. And when it comes down to it, there are going to be people that, just like certain things and don't like the other thing. And to me, that's fine. Of course, wanting one to go out of the business is a little bit too extreme. But in Tony's situation, just, WWE not doing anything for him. I know a lot of people like this. I know a lot of people that I talk wrestling with that will not watch WWE. Then I have people that only watch WWE and will not give AEW the time of day. And you know what? It doesn't hurt my feelings. I don't give a damn because everybody can watch what the hell they watch. I know other people that all they watch is lucha. All they watch is Japanese wrestling. There are so many different things for so many different people. And regardless of what you're into, I don't think you should be shamed for it,
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where we need to land. It's like you could like what you like, but you don't have to want the other one to go out of business. That's it.
Right.
Like, so the certain companies, big ones, don't do it for me, but I don't want them to go out of business. It's just not for me. I understand why it's for everybody, just not for me.
But yeah, sometimes things just go. Sometimes people take it too far. I'm not speaking about Tony. I'm talking about the Facebook person. I'm talking about Facebook. But regardless, I had just seen it actually while I was watching Dynamite. So it was kind of fresh up there in my mind. We got a super chat here from 1LT Photo who says, love to you guys. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. I can't wait for Christmas because I'm going to eat.
You're in the spirit, Denise. Are the tamales on their way, Denise? Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I make the tamales. Me, my grandma, and my sister.
When do you get it started? Is it a long process or is it just a one-day process? Is it a couple-hour process?
It depends on the person and it depends on how many pounds of tamales you're probably going to be making and how many different varieties of tamales that you're going to be making. So me and my grandma and my sister, she, I think, makes 50 pounds of tamales. It's a lot. We literally make a lot because we got like 25 people. Pounds? Yeah, we got like 25 people coming in. Everybody eats at least like 4 to 5 in one sitting. Right. And then everybody wants to take some home. Yeah. So you got to make a good amount if you're going to be giving some away for people to take home to last a couple of days as well. And we make 4 different types of tamales. We make the red ones with the meat. We make the green ones with the meat. We make the cheese and jalapeno ones. And then my, there's one flavor that I don't like that my grandma makes, but she makes it because my aunt My aunt married a white guy, and his favorite is the raisin and sugar tamales. I hate them, but because he likes them, my grandma makes it for him every year. And every year I tell my grandma, I'm sick and tired of the raisin tamales.
Hold on, run it back. Raisins and sugar.
They're supposed to be on the sweet side of things. They're the sweet tamales, so they're not like the savory ones.
Raisins and sugar is the wildest tamale filling I've ever heard.
That's literally all it is. Raisins and sugar inside the tamale. But he loves them, so
how did
we
this
make
come
them.
to be? I'm so confused. That's the most.
I have no idea. I tell my grandma every year, make more of the red ones. The red ones are my favorite.
That caught me off guard. Denise, raisins and sugar.
Oh man. All right. Grapple Geekery sends in a super chat saying, a little stocking stuffer for you folks. Thanks for being my favorite post show this year and making Wednesday my favorite part of the week. Swerve was amazing tonight, and I hope he's champ ASAP. Well, thank you so much for the generous super chat, Grapple Geekery. We really appreciate it. And so cool. We're obviously talking a lot about Swerve, and you mentioned you mentioned the thing about him going to the Jaguars game. We were talking about the MJF thing, his Jon Moxley match last week, the match from today with Rouge. It seems that AEW is fully aware that they caught something over at Full Gear in this match with Hangman, and they are planting the seeds in terms of pushing forward Swerve, in terms of making him a star and doing like crossover appeal and whatnot, so that once the moment actually comes that he becomes AEW World Champion, it's pretty much set up already. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, Denise, it feels good as somebody who makes a list about representation to see like representation on the highest level, like to go on Twitter every day and everyone's like, Swerve should be the next AEW champ. Swerve should be like, every tweet is that. And anytime he posts a clip there, everybody's just like, next world champ is amazing. And it's like, you guys don't know how hard and how long these processes have took to get to even, you know, potentially crowning a world champion. It's like, it's amazing, man. And for it to be Swerve is even more important just because really quick, like if you guys don't know, like they're like, I coined the 5 pillars of black wrestling. Like that's how I like got into this space, and like Swerve was one of those guys I like wanted to get into the space to write and talk about these 5 black wrestlers, and Swerve was one of those guys. And so for him to go from that to being next AEW World Champion sometime in the future is like, man, I love it here.
Who were the other 4 guys, Reg?
The other 4 were Willie Mack, ACH, Cedric Alexander, and Willie Mack, ACH, Cedric Alexander, Swerve. Who am I missing? Oh, this is driving me crazy. Willie Mack, ACH, Cedric, Swerve, Rich Swann. Yeah, sorry, guys. Sorry, Rich Swann. Shout out to Rich Swann. Yeah, those guys were like cooking on the highest level. I was going to PWG all the time, seeing them, and like I was like, damn, there's like, that's crazy that I make a list for 500 wrestlers now, because I was like, man, there's 5 really good black wrestlers now. That's crazy. Now I'm like, there's 1,000 good black wrestlers. But yeah, it's just crazy from going from there to going to here.
Yeah, seriously. Thank you so much to Grapple Geekery. Reg, have you ever had a tamale?
Oh, come on. Denise,
okay.
California.
I recently
I'm
asked.
Disgraced and offended, actually, that you would say that to me.
Well, I'm going to put somebody on blast. I recently asked Sean Ross Sapp this weekend. I said, have you ever had a tamale? And he was like, nope. And I literally nearly died, because keep in mind, I've been having tamales for Christmas every single year my entire life.
Dude, he lives in Kentucky. You shouldn't be surprised about this.
I know.
This is how
it blows my mind.
This is how California it is out here. My black great grandma makes tamales for Christmas, and we're black. So yeah, I've been having tamales for like ever. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I was not expecting that.
Totally. And yeah, like even beyond that, I've had Latina girlfriends, and like you can't, when it's the holidays in California, you can't leave out the grocery store without someone offering you tamales out of the back of their van. And those are the tamales that really hit.
The ones in the back of the van. God
Oh
damn.
man.
You need to go to a tamale festival. If there's ever, to anybody watching, if there's ever a tamale festival near you, please go. It is just like you'll just be drooling the entire time. You're like, all right. Crazy 101 sends in a super chat saying, if Jay wins and Eddie wins, it would be the rematch of the match that got Jay out of New Japan Pro Wrestling. He would technically be allowed to go back to New Japan too. Oh, that's a lot there. What do you make of this, Reg?
If Jay wins and Eddie wins, it would be the rematch of the match that got Jay out of Oh, okay. Yeah, I was at that match. So this is great because that match was badass. And if they ran it back, I would not be mad at it at all. Like I said, if Jay White comes out of this somehow, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing.
Hell yeah. Infamous Raider Loco DWL member says Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston will be epic and big win for Kingston.
Yeah.
It would be, but I don't, it's not the name that I'm going for here.
It looks like a lot of people in the chat are agreeing with me, Denise, that it's Eddie Kingston's time out here. That's just the best story that they're telling here. Two former best friends out for blood, out for vengeance. And imagine that match on the marquee of World's End, Denise. Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston for the winner of the Continental Classic Triple Crown. Come on, we're making money.
Bryan Danielson is pretty much on his way out.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Denise.
Pretty much on his way out. When you talk about marquee names, Bryan Danielson is the guy that can replace anybody and be a marquee name. The man replaced CM Punk in a match against Ricky Starks. And nobody batted an eye. We're like, that's all right. Even the most hardcore CM Punk fans are like, that's all right.
All fair, Denise. I agree. Bryan Danielson would be a worthy replacement, but I think this one just tells the better story because, like, the BCC isn't going to break up after this. Like, they're just going to have a great match. This one, like, ends some chapters.
Sheldon Jackson says, I think the Devil and their henchmen will interfere and cause Swerve simply because he had an interaction with MJF. Track record shows us if you have interactions with MJF, you get jumped by the Devil. Hangman Page, the Acclaimed. Who else?
You know what I thought was super interesting, Denise, on this subject here. After Roderick Strong's match today, he got onto the microphone and he said, he called out Samoa Joe and he was like, look, Samoa Joe, this is the reason why MJF is the Devil. Hangman Page said that MJF was the Devil and look what happened to him. But think about it. Roderick Strong has said MJF's the Devil like 20 times. How come nothing has ever happened to him?
That's true. Maybe the Devil has a soft spot for Roderick Strong. Maybe the Devil cares about his neck health.
Maybe, but that's real interesting. Like, you keep saying it, but you're not getting attacked.
Okay, so who's the only person that would have a soft spot for Roderick Strong? You know the answer. We all know the answer. Mm-hmm. It's Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Seems like they're still telling the story.
Magnum Weight sends in a super chat saying, I'm glad they went with the more interesting route with Mox versus Jay and Swerve. A great match too. Glad Riho gets the shot against Tony Storm. That match was not great. Let's talk about that because we got Saraya versus Riho and man, bless. I really like Riho. I really, really like Riho. Unfortunately, this match with her and Saraya, they didn't click. Now, both of these are girls that we don't get to see wrestle that often. So that may be the reason as to why that this match just did not go that well. But it was a little sloppy. There was some moments where you were seeing a lot of it telegraphed, especially with the finish too. I think I saw Riho like set up Saraya to be in the right spot for her to essentially come in and win this match. Tony Storm was on commentary, though. That was awesome. And afterwards, we see Riho get in Tony Storm's face. They start fighting it out. Mariah May, her number one fan, comes out, has her back, and Tony Storm's like, who's this?
Denise, do we need an in-ring career from Saraya at this point?
Damn, you're gonna set me up like that, Reg?
I'm just
We're
asking.
supposed to be friends. And you're gonna set me up with a question like that?
Because look, let's look back at the matches, Denise. Every time she has a match, we're like, things weren't that great out here. And Saraya's cool. She's great. Like, she has a place here. Like the things that they're doing with Ruby Soho and the the Angelo Parker thing. I like all that. She's playing a good role. But every time she's in the ring, it's not really hidden. It's telegraphed. It feels weird. It doesn't feel right.
The women's wrestling of today, the style, I think has passed her by. And it's like that was bound to happen. She was out for a long time. Things have advanced. The women have advanced, and it just, I can't explain it. It's not really working out, in my opinion, just based off what we've seen. When we first got that promo work between Saraya and Britt Baker in the beginning, I was one of the few people that defended that. A lot of people did not like that. A lot of people thought it was the shits, and I got why people felt that way. I really did, but I really wanted to see Saraya have her moment because she really went through hell and back to get to AEW, and I got a lot of respect for what she did. But it is that thing that I can't sit here and tell you that there has been a match that I loved, a story that I loved, because there hasn't been. The Outcast stuff was terrible. There hasn't been anything. And nothing's popping up right now in my mind. And I really like Saraya, but this is just not it.
Yeah, and it's like, it's great that she came back. Great story that they tell. Like you said, she was in hell, man. Like, they told her she'll never wrestle again. Don't do any of this. So it's like, you want to see her be able to continue to live out her dreams. But yeah, like you're saying, Denise, like, women's wrestling has transitioned so quickly over the last 5 or so years that it's like times are quick. We're seeing Joshi wrestlers wrestle a million miles per hour, have these amazing matches. We're seeing the AEW women. We're seeing Athena and Toni Storm and Chris Statlander and Jamie Hayter and all these incredibly awesome women wrestlers. And then you see Saraya and you're like it's hard competition. Like, not for nothing for her. It's just like the rest of the women are at such a high level that when you're not at that high level, it's really glaring.
Yeah, it is. And it's going to stick out, especially right now with, like you said, all of these women that are going out there and are moving at 100 miles per hour, doing all of this stuff. So you can't help but to notice it when someone is not up to that level anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
it's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but so is life. Like, that's how it is when it comes to like athleticism, when it comes to sports, when it comes to all of that. Like, this is an athletic sport, and she was out. She's got, unfortunately, she's obviously got limitations. So that within itself is going to kind of hold her back a little bit, and you only can do so much. I think if it was working a lot more on a character side of things, then that would be great. And they can probably find something for Saraya character-wise that can work. I mean, look at Toni Storm. She was sucked in on the Outcast thing, and it was terrible. There was a point where Toni Storm was champion, and nobody cared. Everybody cared about Jamie Hayter, and we saw it. We saw it in the reactions from the crowd, all of that. And now look at us. We're out here talking about how Toni Storm is literally like the best character in AEW. She really turned it around.
Yeah, I think Saraya has the opportunity to do that. We've seen her do great character work over her career. We've seen her have moments where she is somebody that people want to be invested in. So I think there is that opportunity. Maybe they need to start setting her up for success. Just leave her in tag matches, leave her in multi-women matches, because the one-on-one matches just aren't working.
Right. So Riho gets the win. She is going to go on to face Toni Storm. Good for Riho. I don't remember the last time I saw her on a pay-per-view. Honest to God, I don't remember.
Yeah, I feel good. I think the match is going to be great. Toni Storm, of course, has been having this great character work. She was amazing on the thing tonight. Your meme was hilarious, Denise, about the shipping and handling stuff. Good stuff. A+ work over there. And I think that the match, Riho's going to show like, tonight isn't how I wrestle. I wrestle like this with Toni Storm at World's End.
We got a very generous super chat from infamous Raider Loco. Yo, thank you so freaking much for this. Damn. Seriously, thank you very much. Says, I just wanted to say happy holidays to you both. I'd appreciate all the content. So much love and respect. Just enjoying wrestling in both companies, but also hearing you talk about it. Enjoy the rest of 2023 and let's go wrestling in 2024.
That's so cool, man. Thank you so much. Genuinely, like, that feels good. Like, really appreciate you being here. Really appreciate that super chat. And yeah, we are ready to go. Like, 2023 is ending pretty well, but 2024 is going to be pretty on fire. Denise, really quick before we move forward, do you have a guest for your World's End post show? Are you doing one of those?
Am I doing a World's End? Sorry, I haven't thought that far ahead. Yes, I am. Why wouldn't I be? I was thinking for a second. I was like, wait, what am I doing?
I don't know. You're busy sometimes. It's a Saturday night.
My brain crashed, Reg.
Yeah, I know. You were like, oh, schedule.
Yes. You know me, if it's not like written down in front of my face, I'm like, I crash like a hard drive.
I'm trying to get on that post show is all I'm saying.
You're on.
If it's possible. Yeah, let's do that.
You're on. You just text me and be like, hey, Denise, can I pop on? Yes. Right, I'm not going to sit here and be like, no, Reg.
I want to do this all alone. Leave me alone.
Well, consider yourself booked, man. I was looking at my calendar right now, just making sure that all is good. But yes, you and I will be here for World's End, and it'll be a good time.
Yeah, appreciate that again, though. Super dope.
Jose Palomar says, my money is still on Britt Baker as the devil. Have you given up on this, Reg? Were you ever on it?
I never started. Yeah, never started on it. It's an interesting little side quest that they're going on. And I mean, you know, wouldn't be the worst idea. If it happened, I'd laugh pretty hard.
Chi-Town Spur says AEW is cool, but did you see the Bulls absolutely trash the Lakers? Shout out to Phil Lindsay.
It's going to be a very good Grapsody on Saturday, I'm guessing.
Damn. John Deller. Oh, thank you so much to Chi-Town Spurs. Mm-hmm. John Deller says they should have pulled the mask off one of the minions who attacked them.
Agreed. Denise. Let's talk about it. Please, let's talk about
it. Let's go.
I know you hated it.
I didn't hate it. Why would you assume that I hated it?
I know you're indifferent on it because it's just like, again, they gave us nothing. You know what I mean? Like, it's happening. There's more guys here today. And then the message starts coming
Half of them look like jobbers when they ran out.
Exactly. It's like, we don't believe any of these people. They start beating them up. And then the message comes on the screen and I'm like,
Reg, am I like, what am I forgetting here? Did they not already do this? Did they not already run this exact same segment a couple weeks ago? Like, yeah, I cannot have made that up.
No, they totally did this. That's exactly how I felt. I was like, I think we're in deja vu. This doesn't feel right. And then, so yeah, I didn't feel good about that segment, Denise. They didn't. I was expecting, like John's saying here, maybe they'll pull off one of the masks. Maybe we'll get some kind of something. But again, we got nothing.
So we got MJF and Samoa Joe kind of doing their thing inside the ring. And Samoa Joe is accusing MJF of being the devil because we never see him get attacked. And MJF comes out and he's like, I've got some accusations too, because last time that you were surrounded by all of these schmucks, like they did not lay one single finger on you. Mm-hmm. And so he's got a massive point there. So they're starting to get in each other's faces, but then all of the masked men come out and a bunch of them, like, you know, they probably just got like a bunch of extras to like put on some black, like whoever had black clothes, put it on, run out there and literally do like really nothing and then get thrown out of the ring. It was the most like half-assed run-in of masked men that I have ever seen. I'm sorry.
Yeah, didn't help.
In the first round of the guys, they didn't really do anything. And then you had the next round of guys that came in through the crowd. And then they turned out the lights. They put up the challenge for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Samoa Joe's fed up. MJF is obviously wanting to defend the titles in honor of Adam Cole. And so we're maybe going to get this match because we were supposed to get this match last time too.
Yeah, I'm still having nightmares about how stupid that angle was. If they do this again next week, Denise, we are out of here. There is a bright side to this because as an avid Ring of Honor watcher and reviewer, if you're getting these belts off of MJF, I'm all the way in. But you have to reveal somebody next week if that's what we're doing. If they're beating them for the championships, we have to know who won those belts, right, Denise?
This match isn't happening.
They're gonna do. They can't do this again,
They're
Denise.
going to do the exact same thing they did last week.
They can't.
Because we already know the reveal is going to happen at World's End. If they reveal any guys before then, it's going to be a spoiler before the actual big reveal.
If they do this again, Denise, they can't. They already did it to us once.
Unless they do like two nobodies that nobody knows and we don't know who they're associated with. But that would be stupid.
They have to reveal that the kingdom's underneath there when they win these Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. It's the only way.
And what
you
does
don't
that
care
mean?
at all.
I don't care. No, I don't care. If the kingdom is revealed, it's the masked men.
Oh my God, you did not care.
My facial expression will not change.
What's wrong with the kingdom, Denise?
Nothing. It's just that. Why? Why should I care? Tell me the reasons why.
As a Ring of Honor fan, there's a bunch of reasons I think they should be Ring of Honor World Champion, Tag Team Champions. But as far as this story, there's no reason for you to care.
You see,
I agree.
Thank you very much. Like, I'm not alone in this. Like, I want to care.
If you don't watch Ring of Honor, you're like, you're all probably like, why are the championships even involved? I don't care about that.
Right. So that's a little bit of how I feel about that. But we also got Wardlow, by the way, who's part of this too. He ends up doing like this vignette, and he has a really good line that I actually enjoyed. He tells the devil, MJF, that the payment for your sins cannot be delayed any longer, and I will be there to bring the devil to his knees. And he explains this as a battle of good between evil, and the clock is ticking.
Yeah, strong stuff. I think he's been doing a lot of great promo work, but like another like, get on with it, get to it, do something.
Rafael Garcia says, I know it should be someone who makes sense, but I'm still pushing for it to be Maki Ito in the Dark Order. I have an agenda, and it's hashtag kawaii.
You want everybody on the internet to be really mad, I think.
Can you imagine if they did that? Like the
People
hell?
would be so mad. People would be so mad. But yeah, we got to wrap it up, dude. I agree with Base Martian. Like, this is running its course. I'm happy that World's End next week. If this extended past World's End, I'd come on here yelling, Denise.
Now I kind of want it to happen just so that we can see you break.
Why? We don't want that.
We could get some views, and I'll clip it up and put Reg breaks on the internet.
All right. Okay. Yeah. All you care about is content. You don't care about the wrestling business here.
Yes, Boy says, feels like Samoa Joe is replacement for Adam Cole in this MJF program, especially with Roddy calling Samoa Joe his friend. Does it make it obvious MJF is winning? Quite opposite. I think it's obvious that Samoa Joe is winning.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly how I felt. I think it doesn't, like, I don't think MJF's coming out of this at all as the AEW World Champion.
Do you think that had Adam Cole not gotten hurt, that he would have been the one to become AEW champion?
Yeah, I kind of feel like Adam Cole would have probably beat him at Full Gear.
Right?
Yeah.
I think so too. I think that it seems, based on what the story that they were telling during that All-In period, it really felt like we were headed to Adam Cole becoming AEW World Champion.
That's why I'm like, at this Joker stuff, I'm like, they probably had to do some rearranging and some stretching, but they could have got to it already. But I feel like if Adam Cole didn't get injured, we'd already know who everybody was.
Exactly. So I do feel like they kind of pivoted the story a little bit to Samoa Joe, just plugged his name in there instead of Adam Cole's. It does feel that way. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how I'm feeling right now.
Same.
They just need to spice it up. Chi-Town Spurs says, nah, raising tamales is a war crime.
Seriously, that's crazy.
Bad. They're not bad. Don't get me wrong. I love raisins. They're not bad, but it's just not my favorite tamale. Like, my favorite tamale is the red meat ones. Second favorite is the cheese with the jalapenos.
So you eat the raisin one, though?
I have had it because there's times where I can't tell which one's which. So I'll pull it out and I'll just be like, I got a raisin one. I might as well eat it. I might as well eat it.
I got a raisin one. You got to mark those one with like different corn huskers. How about this?
I tell my grandma all the time, but you know how it is. They be doing stuff for for a husband. What do you like? Husband-in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it is.
Yeah, straight up. And it's like a process. There's no difference. Like, eat it.
Yeah. Juan Ortega says, AEW sold me tonight. I'm going to AEW Orlando.
Nice. Have a good time.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Juan Ortega, for the super chat. We got a very generous one here from Tony Campbell who says, Swerve is ready for the TNT title. I'm for that. Ready for the devil reveal already. FTR versus House of Black has my interest. Great to see Thunder Rosa back. I hope they go Starks Big Bill versus someone else. So let's talk about that because we got a segment today where we already knew this, obviously, because Kenny Omega had posted this on social media that he had diverticulitis and it's going to be out for the foreseeable future until he is all good to come back and resume pro wrestling, right? But as of right now, he's out. And so Chris Jericho came out on screen and basically reiterated what Kenny Omega had said in his social media posts and said that they really didn't know what was going to happen next for the Golden Jets, but he wishes them the best. He's waiting for his pal, and that's it.
I thought it was a good little thing. Like if Kenny's watching at home, for him to see that, kind of representative, like we are all rooting for you, Kenny Omega. It all was a big collective sad sigh when he released that message on Twitter. So it's like, yeah, for them to kind of do that same thing that everybody was doing on Twitter, on TV, I thought was a pretty classy thing. And Kenny deserves it. Like nobody wants this. We all want to see him wrestling.
Yeah, it's a real bummer, man, honestly. And depending on how long he's out for, like, do you even think we're going to be seeing them resume the Golden Jets? Because keep in mind,
think so, yeah.
But keep in mind, it looks like there was a storyline to be had there with the Young Bucks. Like, what's going to happen now? The Young Bucks were throwing their tantrum. They're gone. We haven't seen them since then. What now with them? How does this all tie in?
I think if depending the length of how long he's out, you got to tell a different story. If he's out for 9 months or something long like that, you got to tell a different story. But if he's out for 3 months, I think you could probably get it back to this.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I know. You and I, we know this. We weren't fans. And a lot of people were not fans of that segment that we got last week. It was the shits. It wasn't good. We know this. But regardless, it's like it's unfortunate to see a storyline, I guess, not conclude.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand. Kind of it feels like they were setting up for something, and I think people were maybe some people looking forward to that not finishing that story does feel a little incomplete. So yeah, I think they could probably bring it back to that.
Christopher Marino sends in a super chat saying, did Taz build Swerve his house since he is the human duplex machine?
That was a good one.
That was her favorite landlord. I was like, where is she going with that? What is she going to say?
She brought it back around for sure.
Thank you so much to Christopher Marino. We got a super chat here from Wyatt Cox who says the devil equals Black Scorpion equals Ric Flair.
Ooh, another thing that people would be very upset at. That's a throwback to an old WCW angle.
No, I know, but like, huh? Oh, hells no.
See, you got to throw in a couple of wild cards in there that would burn down the internet, and that's one of them.
Yeah, it would definitely be something. I mean, people are already not feeling the Ric Flair thing on AEW. The tweet that he sent out didn't really help matters all too much. That's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing much else to say about that. Wyatt Cox, thank you so much for the super chat, for the laugh. Saul Martel sends in a super chat. Didn't write anything, but thank you so much to Saul for sending this in. This goes a long way. This is all going. We're going to be getting, how should I say this? Reg, you're going to be getting a Christmas bonus.
Christmas bonus. Clap, 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 clap. Yeah, so everybody just keep it up. Keep with the super chats. We're going to keep this pod going for the next 3 hours. No, thank you, Denise. I really appreciate it.
Reg just like, you woke up.
I was like, wait. Let's talk about it. Jon Moxley and Jay White were the main event of this match. It all started.
So the second I said Christmas bonus, your face lit up.
Money. I need money.
Oh, shit.
I'm a whore for these wrestling talks, Denise.
Delayed Grad says, the masked men could be the righteous. That would not hint at who the devil is at all.
Oh,
do you think so?
Story. Yeah, no, that is a kind of good story to tell because they still have been telling the story of being mad about being defeated the last time. So yeah, that could actually work.
Thank you so much, Delayed Grats, for that. We got I Am Crush NC, who says, I promise you, he doesn't speak for all of us white people. I'm so sorry for your transgressions against our people. Raisins, tamales are the devil. They're not bad. They're not
I love
bad.
everybody in the comment being like, what, dude? No, never. Because seriously, I've never heard of that. This is crazy as hell.
Dude, you'd be surprised. Like, once I went to the tamale festival, I saw like all of these different types of tamales that people do. Like some people put vegetables, they put beans. I mean, people put all
fruit
sorts
tamales
of stuff.
Before.
Which ones?
Fruit.
I haven't had those.
Yeah, I think
I
they were
stay
like
on
apple.
the savory side.
Yeah, I understand it. They're usually more savory, but yeah, I've had some different iterations. I've had Salvadorian tamales, which are different too. So I've been around.
Damn, Reg, you're a lot more cultured. You're a lot more cultured than I thought.
Denise, again, California connection. I live in California. I have no choice.
Remember when we were in Chicago? I forget. I might have been for All Out or something. Do you remember when we all went to go get tacos and Will had his first ever concha? Wait, were you there for that?
I wasn't there. I was there for the second time when we
shit.
When we learned somebody's middle name.
Okay, it was me. You know what? It was me.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
Phil and Will, and we went to go get tacos in Chicago, and we were eating tacos, and Will looks up and he goes, you know, I'm kind of in the mood for something sweet. And I was like, get a concha. And he's like, huh, what is that? And I'm like, bro, you need to get a concha. So he had his first ever concha in Chicago.
And he'd be trying to claim that he's from LA. I'd be like, don't say that. You lived there for a little bit of time. He'd be like, no, I'm from LA. No, you're not, dude. Never even had a concha. Watch out.
He's got FOMO, is what it is.
He does.
Yes, boy says, Reg, can you explain to us the severity of Liv Morgan's punishment? People like Denise and I weren't sure how serious this is in 2023.
Yeah, yes, boy. Legit, it only comes down to in Florida, it's still not legal like it is anywhere else. So, like, if you have it and like driving with it comes a different set of rules too. Like, even if I got caught driving with it, or if they deem me impaired to drive, like it'd be the same kind of things. They switch up the rules and stuff when it comes to that, but really it just comes down to Florida's Florida, and they on some wild shit.
Yeah. Oh man, when I saw that, by the way, I was thinking, oh, that's right. It's not legal in Florida.
You can't be driving with it.
No.
Yeah.
Man.
Free her.
Well, thank you for the insight, Reg. We appreciate that, because some of us were a little clueless when it came to that.
You're like, it's because you think you like see weed commercials, Snoop Dogg's on TV smoking and stuff. You're like, why is that? But no, in Florida, they're still wild. In Georgia, they got crazy laws about it. It's like certain places, it's not like that.
Dude, every place I go, someone is blowing some strawberry flavored freaking thing in my face. And what's worse is that there's times where I'm like, that smells good. And I turn around and person's vaping and I'm like, I'm like, that smells really good.
It's not weed, that's just nicotine. But I feel them.
Is that not like the same thing?
No, it's different. It's like cigarettes compared to weed.
All right, well, that's news.
You're still
that's news to me. I thought this whole time weed and vaping was the same thing.
Well, you can vape weed. There is it's gonna take too long, Denise.
Reg.
Okay, usually the ones with the big smoke, if you smell like something sweet, or you like see like it's like a little box, it looks like a square, that's usually nicotine in that. But there are weed vapes also that you could vape weed, same kind of style. So but you're probably seeing the nicotine ones, because those are very popular right now.
Yeah, I see everybody with them everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's
especially in LA, everybody's on that.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
And every place I walk to smells like weed. So it's like it's so normal here. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's very normal. I'm not saying everyone does it, but it is a lot normal here.
Yeah, everywhere I walk smells like weed too. I don't know why.
Reg, you're just walking around with a little odor.
I'm like, what is that smell, dude? It smells like weed in here. Everybody's like, that's you. I'm like, oh yeah.
Oh man, I'm done. Saul Martel sends in a super chat saying the Pillars, Devil, are coming after MJF, Baker, Guevara, Perry, Wardlow. They are all after MJF because he has become soft.
Oh, okay. That's a story I haven't seen being told. I could get into that.
I love the match that they had at Double or Nothing. We were just talking about it. I put it in our video that we did. If you guys haven't seen that and you enjoy Reg and I talking about AEW, I posted up a video on YouTube where we both shared our top 10 favorite AEW matches. That was a blast, man. Like, I tell you, it was a blast. And going back and editing the video and getting all of the images for it, I felt like I was rewatching some of these matches through the images.
Yeah, no, really fun time. If you guys haven't listened to that, Denise and I get into our favorite matches, our favorite moments of the year. And yeah, taking time to kind of reflect, Denise, because legit, there's so many matches. You review so many shows, Denise. You watch so many wrestling matches in 1 week that it's hard to think about, like, oh, what happened in January? And you're like, oh, yeah, Bryan Danielson wrestled Bandito on TV. It's crazy. So I love doing things like that because you get to reflect.
Right. So obviously the Four Pillars match definitely went on that list. It's not an idea. I don't hate this idea. Can I just say that? I don't hate this idea.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't hate it.
People have been interested in having Jack Perry be one of the people or be the Joker. So, I mean, it's not super far off.
Leonard Aarons III says Mox has Swerve and Jay next Wednesday to get the C2 final, Continental Classic final. Then Findlay and Ospreay at the Dome. Ouch. The Devil's really running Mox headlong into a lot of enemies he needs to not be making at this point. I think it's been a while now where MJF has definitely had a lot of enemies.
Yeah, there is. Oh, I think he said Mox, not Max. Wait. Who has enemies? There's a lot of people. Okay,
Max.
Mox and Max. He started with Mox. He ended with Max. Yeah, I'd like that. That's probably the best story that Max has been telling for the last 6 months, is having all these people after him. Because that's like one of my least favorite wrestling tropes is when somebody's the world champ, there's like only the number one contender and one other person. Like, no, everybody on the roster should be trying to kill this guy to get his championship because we're all here for this championship. So anytime there's a bunch of contenders, a bunch of different scenarios, like we have even more, going into the new year, I think is the best way to go for a world championship.
Hell yeah. There's a funny tweet. A funny comment. I want to read this one. Reg Van Dam.
The whole... I mean, fun fact, I have smoked a joint with Rob Van Dam before. So.
Oh, have you really? How'd that happen?
Yeah. He was doing a stand-up show in Bakersfield with my friend. My friend booked him to do a stand-up show in Bakersfield. And then before the show, we smoked a joint. The stand-up was some of the god-awful worst stand-up I ever heard in my life. But Rob Van Dam is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, so it didn't matter.
Juan Ortega says, bold prediction. 2024, Jon Moxley finally goes on vacation.
Ooh, that's a bold one. I don't know.
Poor guy, man. He's never getting that vacation, ever.
I don't think he wants it, though, Denise. That's the crazy thing. Like, if he wanted it, he could take it. He's like, no, I'm going to keep going.
He might not want it, but I think it's one of those situations where, like, for example, you're married, right? If I want to go on vacation, my husband's got no choice but to go on vacation. He's coming on vacation at some point. So obviously, if Renee wants to go on vacation, Mox is going to want to go on. Mox is going to have to go on vacation. That's how it works, So
you think Renee should force him into the vacation is what you're saying?
Whenever he doesn't have anything going on, but I don't even think there's been an opening for her to even do that because she's working there now too. Right. And then on top of that, it feels like anytime Mox gets close to going on vacation, something happens.
Exactly. Some unfortunate situation where they have to send out the Mox bat signal like, we need you again, bro. Come win this championship.
Yes, exactly that. And I mean, if he's going to have a vacation, I don't even know when he'd do it.
Maybe right after Wrestle Kingdom, like you finish out the Continental Classic, you hit up Wrestle Kingdom, have this big epic match, then you just take a little month break until we start getting geared up for Revolution.
I guess it also depends on how long a vacation is to you. To me, a vacation is like 5 days.
Yes, I mean, vacation for me is like, I'm going to be out for 3 days. Like, I don't know what a vacation. Somebody was like, when have you taken like a consecutive week off of podcasting? I'm like, I think for 2 years, I haven't taken a full week off. I've done at minimum one podcast every week for the last 2 years.
Damn, Reg, even I've taken a week off. Oh, I've took 2 weeks off.
No, not me.
Damn, out here hustling. Out here hustling.
And for what? No, I'm sorry.
And for what? Larice Johnson says, Denise and Reg, what is your favorite AEW moment for this year?
Yeah, I think for this year.
Well, I know match. We've already talked about that, but moment.
Probably the big homie winning the TNT championship. That was like, it was in California. He did the big ladder match and then he won the belt. They didn't do the best at afterwards what happening, but just like that moment and then him having the big moment in Sacramento where he talked, like that was big for me.
Yeah, that was good. I can't think of a moment where I was legitimately going like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. I don't think I got one, Reg. Like I got a bunch of matches that I liked.
You were at All In,
Denise.
All Out, Denise, not All In. No, you were at All In London.
Yeah, that was cool. I guess that was a good moment, just going there and experiencing that.
Yeah.
Sure, okay, I'll count that. But I thought you meant like a specific moment.
No, that's a moment. That's like an epic thing that we're going to remember forever.
All right, then that's definitely my vote for sure.
Yeah.
Yes, Boy says, is the California Connection going to attend the Kia Forum on the 30th to watch Punk punch Dom in the face? I'm not. I'm going to Knott's Berry Farm that day. That's
the day of World's End. That's why I was asking you about your schedule.
Oh, wait. No, I'm not going to Knott's Berry Farm that day.
The 30th is Saturday, the same day as World's End.
Oh, I am going to Knott's Berry Farm that day. But no, I have a plan. Sorry, I was like, wait a minute, did I double book? No, here's the plan. So that day, I'm doing Busted Open from 6 to 9 a.m. my time.
Yeah.
And then at 10 a.m., I'm meeting my family at Knott's Berry Farm. And then I'm leaving Knott's Berry Farm at 4 to get here in time to watch World's End at 5, watch that until it ends, and then do the post show. That was the schedule for the day.
Did you hear that, Denise? You have to do that then.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. I stuff my days like that all the time. That's an easy day.
Start at 6 and end at 6 a.m. again?
I've had a lot of Saturdays like that, but where I'm actually working, at least this week I'm going to Knott's. I mean, next week I'm going to Knott's and it'll be fun. But there's been weeks where I literally go from job to job to job. Like there's been weeks where there was 1 week where I did Busted Open from 6 to 9. And then I did the MMA job from 10 to 3. And then I'd come home and do a watch along from 5 to 7 or 5 to 8, whenever the pay-per-views would end. And then after the watch along, I would do the post show with Sean on Fightful. And then afterwards, do like a bonus show or something like that, or do an F4W video. So I've had days like that where it's just like a bunch. But I love those days. You want to know why I love those days? They come every so often. I love them because the entire time I'm doing math in my head and I'm going, okay, I'm getting paid for this. I'm getting paid for that. How much does that equal? Okay, that's the value of the day.
Yes, and at minimum, like it probably sounds like first world problems. At the end of the day, we get to just talk about wrestling, so it's not really the worst. You know what I mean? It's fun. Like I wake up and like talk about wrestling. I love it. It's the best.
Exactly. Alrighty. Thank you so much to Yes Boy for that super chat. Wow. That is it, man. We broke down AEW Dynamite for today. Before we go, heads up to everybody, in case you haven't seen already, tomorrow we are doing a very special stream. That is right. We are doing WWE and AEW trivia for the year 2023. Taking part in that is going to be Righteous Reg, Phil Lindsay, Tempest of Wrestle Talk, and Sean Ross Sapp. It's going to be a really good time. I cannot wait. That's going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But then, of course, if you guys haven't watched some of the content that I've already put out this week, I just dropped an interview today with the former Mace from WWE, who was in Retribution, Maximum Male Models. He talks about that, working with Vince McMahon. There's some gems in this interview that I think you guys are going to definitely enjoy. Plus, I also dropped the 2024 predictions video that I did with Sean, doing really great numbers. People love when we do that. It's a yearly tradition. Check that out. And then, of course, the video that Reg and I did that I absolutely just enjoyed because we recapped all of the very best wrestling matches from AEW this year. So if you are a big time AEW fan, I think that is definitely a video for you to check out. Reg, where can the people find you?
You know, every Saturday you can catch me at Philip Lindsay Grapsity Podcast. 3 hours of the best wrestling of the week. Catch it every Saturday. Every other Thursday, we're on Ask Grapsity, the Fightful Select. We were on last week, so that means we're not on tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll be on with Kate on the Ring of Honor Post Show. And every Wednesday, I'm on with Mike and Indeed. And here with Denise on Speak Now, talking the best of AEW Dynamite.
Exactly that. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for all the love, for all the support, and we will catch you guys tomorrow for that trivia video. Until next time, thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.